Hi, my beautiful soul, and welcome to another day of Soul Healing Summit 2. Today, we have someone that I've been so excited to bring to you, a true priestess, a true goddess in its entire form, Natalia Price. She's the women's spiritual embodiment coach, a ordained priestess, and facilitator of the 13 Moon Mystery School. Natalia works with archetypes to empower and inspire women in realigning with their feminine power. She's so passionate about the feminine rising movement, being that force for celebrating our planet and creating change from the inside out. It's such a pleasure and such an honor to have you. How are you doing beautifully, Angel?
Yay, I'm so excited to be here.
You just have this like eminence of light, and I wanted you to come in to ignite that feminine power within not only our females out there but even males, because we all need that part. Would you please share a little bit about that?
Mm. This path of the feminine is one that is about igniting hearts and inspiring and lifting us all up. You know, we all have this feminine aspect within us. It's not really about gender. It's about honoring that part of us that is receptive, that is heart open, that is compassionate, that connects with others. And then how to bring it into our everyday life, how to really walk that talk, how to honor all parts of ourselves. As we live in this, world that's so dominated by the masculine, the patriarchy, that has given us one idea of what it is to be a human being. And now, as women are reawakening and igniting and really standing in their feminine power, we're bringing this new creativity, this new depth of heart, this new way to express and communicate and be creative in such a more expansive, heart opened way.
You use a lot in your moon school, like you guide women into finding their archetypes and how to use the archetype for your own good. What is this something that you would advise somebody that has never heard of this or doesn't even know what feminine archetypes are?
Archetypes are some of the basic, you can almost say, building blocks of how we hold reality and how we see ourselves. And a lot of this work is based on Jungian archetypal psychology, where we have they're almost like energetic blueprints, these divine blueprints that help us to see ourselves from this greater, more mythic, more expansive perspective. And they help us to step out of the ego mind or the personalities or some attachments that we have. So they move us beyond culture or identity or religion to be able to see, oh, this is how we can live in such a more freed up version of ourselves. So
So,
this really serves anybody, on any level to just truly, it's about self liberation.
and as you say that on my computer is 1212, so confirmation. As you were sharing about archetypes, how many archetypes are out there? And do we shift from one archetype to another through our life path?
Well, you see often archetypes are in the tarot, that you'll see that they have 22 archetypes. We in the 13 Moon Mystery School, which was brought in through our founder, Ariel Spielsbury, she brought in 13 of them for us to work with in embodying them in ourselves so that we're not seeing them or seeing the divine as something that's out there somewhere, or it's esoteric, or it's up here. We bring it into embodiment, into the way we move in the world, the way we speak, the way we share. And it's said that most people come in with one or two archetypes as their primary ones, and then throughout our life, we move through different ones at different points or at different cycles or different things that we are faced with in life, that we can really use them to help support us, to guide us, to inspire us.
So when you meet someone, can you tell right away what archetype they are or what's the dominant archetype?
I wouldn't say instantly, but some time of talking with them and finding out what their dreams are, what their passions are, or how their main way to move in the world, I do eventually.
Beautiful. And so ultimately, you want to explore, ignite all 13 archetypes within you, not just one.
Yes. It's almost just like discovering all these different aspects of who you are, so then you can consciously choose to work towards to be the person you wanna be in this world, that everything is given space. You see so much in a patriarchal world where we've really been given this idea of either, like, the virgin or the whore or the mother, right? Those are almost like the 3 main ones that all you could be, and if you weren't that, and then as women came out into the business world as entrepreneurs, we came into this very feminist movement that we thought we needed to be like the men and do work in that way and express ourselves in that way. And now through really exploring all these separate faces of ourselves, truly, we can choose to see what do I want to cultivate? And also looking at where are some of our main blockages or the places that we can't quite see in ourselves that we need to actually address so that we can move through those pieces.
My angels are asking me, was like, can you have her describe one of the archetypes that she feels aligned to describe right now?
One of the main archetypes that I work with is the priestess archetype. And that is this archetype that really brings us into finding our center, to being grounded, to learning how to get out of our way, to quiet the monkey mind, and to be this clear vessel. And even though we use this word priestess, you could also bring this word visionary or guide or coach or medicine woman, that one that is aligned to coming inward and really sharing that wisdom from a deeper place of remembrance, not just from the logical mind. And another archetype that's really big now in our world is the Queen of Death. And this is an archetype that is seen instead of as this like grim reaper that comes and takes your life, it's this majestic queen, this loving divine mother energy that invites you in, not only in the physical death, but in this egoic death of laying down and letting go of things that are no longer serving you, of allowing things to consciously die and to be with that process. It could be grief or divorce or, separation or just letting go of things that are blocking you from standing in your truth and in your power.
It's interesting because I was just reading this book, No Mud, No Lotus, and it was explained how the idea just went away. Never mind. I guess I wasn't supposed to mention though.
Well,
Never
especially
mind.
that part about the mud that we need to honor what in our world is seen as the shadow or the dark, that, "Oh, no, don't look that way." And,
Oh,
and
here it is. Okay, it came back. It came back. So you're talking about the
the Queen of
archetype
Death.
of death, and one thing that was explained in that book is that we're constantly dying. Every day, every breath we're taking, we're constantly dying. And when you realize that, then you make every moment count. It allows you or inspires you to actually live.
Yes, yes, that's what so much of that energy is, to live more fully because you're appreciating everything. You're seeing that, yes, every breath could be your final one.
And if you think about the process of ascension, you're constantly dying because a part of you has to be cleared or let go for you to allow more of your light to come in.
Yes, and then how to do it consciously, how to be with the pieces, how to confront them. We're not here like chopping off parts of us that we don't like. We're bringing it into wholeness and also really garnering its gifts. Especially things like depression or grief. There's so much wisdom there to help us evolve.
Natalia, I would love to hear a story, the first story that comes to your mind of somebody that came to you at 13 Moon Priestess School and where the person was at the beginning and what happened, what shift happened after 13 months of exploring all these archetypes.
What first comes to mind is a beloved sister who, at first, she was someone who was very, in a sense, kind of shut down. And she was very, had a lot of self doubt that was living in her and a lot of insecurities from, having just a lot of things happen to her in her lifetime and having a mother that was very controlling and possessive and she never quite felt that she had anything important to say. And even stepping forward into the path was a really big deal for her. And for a while, she kept staying quiet and listening. But over time, and especially having her really address and look at what are these pieces? Why am I so afraid to step forward or speak? And by really learning to love all these different aspects and cultivate places of self care and self love, she was able to really step forward and clear all these things in her throat chakra and find her path of really seeing where, what had happened to her and her journey, that she became such a champion for assisting other women and stepping forward and working with having, she called it working with a narcissistic mother, but just learning to use her own story and her own trauma to empower and lift her up and then give her a mission and a purpose in life to assist others through the same thing.
As you were sharing this, like I found so many parts of the story. I'm like, that relates to me a little bit. Is it interesting how we all connected, how we hear exactly the right thing at the right time when we open up to that divine alignment and guidance? I want to hear a little bit about your story. Was this something, were you this way from the moment you were born, or was it a major shift, an impact that happened in your life that kind of took you in a very different direction, or where you are today?
I wouldn't say I was like this. I grew up in a very, male-dominated, had brothers, and, I think really in my early 20s, I went backpacking by myself through Europe and, discovered Ibiza, the island of Ibiza, and just that really helped liberate me, and through what would appear to be hedonism or partying, it actually just let me break free from a lot of old constructs of who I thought I should be. And then later I discovered yoga, and I went to India thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna find my guru, my teacher, who's gonna tell me exactly how the spiritual path should be, and the way or the rules or regulations to how to become spiritual." And, of course, I didn't find that. I found all these male gurus that I didn't quite resonate with. And, upon coming back, I went to a summer solstice celebration, and there I saw my teacher, Ariel Spielsbury, doing a ritual theater performance about the divine feminine. And even at that time, I didn't understand everything she was talking about, but there was an energy that resonated so deeply that I said, I want to study with this woman. There is something here that it's like a coming home. And so I, went to talk to her, and it just happened to be that she was starting a priestess program, and I just jumped in without really even knowing what I was getting into. And through that journey, really of cultivating myself and, learning more than anything to be able to reclaim my self-worth and to move through any of these places of not enoughness that were really kind of leaking my power and constantly making me second guess and doubt myself. I was able to move through so many fears I had. I was someone that I was very afraid to speak in public. I was very
I can
shut
relate to
down.
that.
I was really shut down here. And through this work and through working with, Ariel and in that priestess path, I learned to clear these blockages and just learning tools to how to confront the fear and to move through it. And just clear, I had a lot of perfectionism, thinking that I needed to show up in some perfect, glorious way before I could actually put myself out in the world. And through, doing a lot of shadow work, it helped me to integrate those parts of myself. And then every time I show up, every person I work with, every interview class, I get better. I learn more about myself. I become more confident, more clear about my purpose.
Mm,
Yeah, it's a journey for all of us, as you know.
absolutely. When it comes to shadow work, isn't it something that some people get, how do I say, a little bit off putting, like, oh, it's dark energy or shadow work, it's something bad, versus can shadow work be embraced because maybe that is a way to get to our light? What is your perception on this case?
That's it exactly. That the shadow isn't bad, it just is there. And we've been shoving it kind of under the carpet or into the unconscious. And for us to really come into our full selves and in our wholeness, we need to look at all parts of ourselves. And so this path is so much about unearthing everything that you've tried to keep hidden or the skeletons in the closet, because all those things, they're still working through each one of us. But often they might be creating chaos or might be attracting to us, the wrong kind of people or triggers, so we need to just bring it forward. And the priestess path is all about making friends, starting a new relationship with what might be dark or bad or wrong, and redefining it for ourselves so we can take back our power.
So ultimately, it's another way of embracing everything that we are, the light and the shadow and the pain and the joy and all of it. Would be a quick, simple hack to use when shadow does appear in your life, when it takes that grip or that hold of you? What is the quickest hack that you personally use or you teach your clients?
I would say coming into awareness of it, slowing down with it, finding the breath, breathing into it, not trying to avoid it, not trying to distract, not trying to, oh, it's fine, it's okay, I'll just move over here. It's about, okay, what is really here? What is this thing trying to show me? That it's not about the person or the thing or the loss, but what's underneath it, that it's trying to show me about myself, to light shine the light on. And so I would say the biggest hack is slow down and be present with the thing. Go into it. Breathe light into it. See, what is the medicine here? What am I here? Gratitude can I find in it? What can I shift the perspective around to love it, to
Mhm.
bring it back into wholeness?
So when something like this comes, the best, where one of the first and best things to do is simply be present with it and acknowledge it, that it's there, instead of putting a band-aid on. I'm like, no, it's not mine.
Yes, yes. We have what we work with, we call it a pattern interrupter, where when you catch yourself doing that thing that you keep doing, or maybe every time that person that comes to you that triggers you or that judgment you have, create something for yourself in your body that often it's good to have it that it's somatic, that it could be like squeezing yourself or tapping or, squeezing your hands or just simply taking a deep breath that helps you to slow down, to not go back into that trauma response or the old coping mechanism that you have to just, numb out or pretend it's not there, to be like, okay, I'm aware this thing is up again. I'm feeling really shut down now. How can I stay present? And the more we do this, the more we make it into, a practice. Okay, here it is again. I'm okay. I'm safe. The more it helps to calm our nervous system so that then we can make another choice. We can choose, oh, I'm not going to go into that old pattern. I'm going to step forward in this new way.
That is amazing. Another question that I'm hearing from the collective is, in your practice, especially right now where the world is ascending at quantum speed, have you found that maybe opening up certain archetype unleashes the biggest spiritual power that we have? Or what, in other words, what is the archetype that it's the least used by the people that you see every day? That once you open that one, it's like major shift in every area of their lives.
Mm. Two instantly come to mind. The first one being the great mother archetype. And
Ooh.
this one is almost the foundation of all of it. Because so often we have this idea of mother, of how we were mothered. And this is something so much bigger than just that personal, relationship that we had, of learning how to feel supported, to feel loved, to know that we are held, that you are not alone. And all these illusions of separation, of not belonging, of, I'm not worthy, these are not true. It's all illusions that have kept us disempowered. And when we can call in this energy from the divine to open up, invite her in, and allow her to embrace and hold us, it allows us to feel grounded, held, that there's a foundation, that I'm worthy, that I can step forward, even though I don't quite know how yet, to clear out this old thing of who do I think I am. And it's like, no, I was here. I was meant for this. Just by being who we are worthy of her love. And
Mm.
often, these are some of the core blockages or issues that we have, not only as men, but as women, but as men, all beings, that we don't feel safe, that we don't feel lovable, that we don't feel worthy. And then another one that comes up, only because you said the least used one, is this archetype of the creator destroyer. And we often see her as Kali Ma or Durga or Sekhmet. And she's that one that has those three faces of the creatrix, who births new life, but also the one that destroys. And sometimes she'll do it in what appears to be a wrathful or a wild kind of way. But it's really teaching us to embrace sacred rage and anger, and really to embracing all those emotions that often we have judged as less than or as bad, but to see that they are there because there's been some kind of oppression or shutdown, where she's just like, enough, no more. I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm going to stand up to the powers that be, or be it to the government, or whatever ways that, we are feeling oppressed in our lives, and I'm going to make change. And so breaking through that, and not necessarily directing it at, our anger at someone, but becoming aware, oh, I'm angry about this. This is showing me this is a place where I need to go towards. This is where there is, this will for change, a force to activate you and ignite, that passion, that shakti to go out and do something about it.
How did you find this archetypes or opening to this part to affect personal relationships or love relationships?
I feel all the work that we all do on ourselves, and the way the archetypes bring us inward to see what's within, affects all of our lives, from our most intimate relationships and our families, our children, our mothers, our work, our careers in the world, because they're really helping us to rediscover who we are. Each of the archetypes have these beautiful light qualities that we'll often want to cultivate or, aspire towards and work with. But especially in the shadow work, where they're helping us either look at like comparison or competition, or the ways that we numb ourselves down, or the ways that we doubt ourselves. And they make us confront those pieces. So then we can just be more authentic, more grounded, more real with ourselves and with the world. We
Right.
especially have an archetype, the goddess of love, and she's at that time of the full moon and that Venus, and she really brings us first into loving ourselves, into rediscovering all these yummy places and things about ourselves, and how to, when we think of this idea of love, we have this idea of what we can do for other people to make them feel loved or to make them feel good. And she really has us hold the mirror to ourselves, to how can we cultivate this self-love and treat ourselves good and nourish and self-care, and then see the places where we might be comparing ourselves or competing with others for energy or validation, and to clear those places so that we can show up in our fullness. And then we can attract, the right kind of partner or boss or affiliates to merge with in a good way, that are aligned with our values, that are harmonious.
This is so amazing. And I truly want to reiterate because Even though Natalia is speaking, she's doing a lot of work already because like I felt certain like several shifts throughout this conversation. It's quite magical. So I highly encourage that you watch this several times. One thing that I would love to ask you is that as you go through this process and you open up to these abilities, what glimpses of the new earth or the new human have you received so far? And how does that look like from your perspective?
It's especially working with this archetype of the priestess and another one called the weaver dreamer, where we start to really open up as that visionary to put our dreams out into the web. What really keeps coming back to me is this rebalancing of the masculine and feminine on our planet. That is through women reawakening to the power that we hold, to find our voice and to offer our gifts into the world. That this is really what's needed to seed a new planet for us, to change all the ways that the patriarchy has told us, how we make money, how we educate, how our medicine system is, how we empower each other, that it is about redefining who we are within, that we no longer need to go in this old story of constantly producing or putting ourselves out there, or that power is something over this hierarchy. And that when we rebalance within ourselves in that inner masculine and feminine, that we create this greater equality on the planet, this greater balance. So where we really see Mother Nature and Gaia as this equal force that we can learn from, that we can weave with and integrate into how we live on the planet right now. And that this is so crucial. And especially how we see in the East the way women are treated and that they're not having the same kind of freedom that men have. And that this will open up this new era of new ideas coming in that are more expansive, that are more aligned with serving all of humanity equally. That we move out of these ideas of, that the top down or the 1%, and we start to ignite every human on the planet to step up to their full potential, to their visionary abilities, to their full creativity being ignited and on board that will really serve and realigning and lifting up this planet.
So beautifully said. And I already feel that you opened the portal for a beautiful journey for us. What would you like to share with our audience, with our VIP members?
I want to take them through a journey of visualizing themselves in that higher vision and the higher dream they have, seeing what is stopping them from really being in that, and coming back into a greater integration to stand in that truth, fully aligned in their power.
That sounds amazing. Let's do it.
Aho.
Sister. That was so amazing. You're like, have the symbol in front of you, and I just see this beautiful bright diamond. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put the diamond in a heart. And then you're like, and bring that into your heart. And I'm like, okay, we're sisters. It was so magical to feel that amplification going out and out to everything that I'm made of. I'm not even gonna say this world and this planet because we're made of so many more elements than what we're able to see. Such a gift. Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you for igniting these archetypes within us and giving us a taste of what it's like to be in that wholeness, in the fullness of the divinity we're always meant to be. Hmm,
Blessed be.
that was juicy. That was juicy. I want to ask something that is much deeper and beyond. Because a lot of work that we do, there's only so much translation that we can understand in the human realm. So if you're called to use words or light language or anything else or simply silence, that is perfectly fine. My angels are asking me to, if there is a way to show us what a true embodiment of divinity feels, looks, tastes, and senses like.
Mm. In the 13 Moon Mystery School, we really work a lot with symbols and with mudras. We call it yantra, mantra, and mudra. And for each one of us have our own symbols that show up in our lexicon, as you even saw now. And so for each person that to claim their own symbol as that place of their divinity. As I just had, you reach for that one that aligned with your vision, but using first beginning with mudra, that we have this symbol, this movement symbol that we have, where we bring our left palm right at the heart with the palm facing up to realign with the heart, and then we bring the right hand overhead, straight up overhead, and then as we bring that top hand down and in, you call yourself in, calling in all aspects of who you are to come down in through your central channel. Calling in that past, present, future, that I am presence, that divinity that you hold, calling it in. And when it comes here into the heart, bowing to yourself, just bowing to who you are, to that body temple, that divinity that you are. And then finding for yourself just organically what your hands are naturally called to do, where they come to show you a mudra that is your mudra, your symbol, your seal. And, it could change at different moments and you can dance with it, you can play to bring in energy, to bring in the divine, to bring in what you want to offer into the world. So that we're taking it out of this idea of anywhere out there or in the etheric realms and calling it in and making it your own, right? To realign it with that body, the emotion, the spirit, the physical. Calling yourself in using movement, using dance, anything that brings that joy and that somatic movement back into the body, into that thing of embodiment. And then aligning that. And then even with that, if there is a affirmation, a mantra, a sound that anybody feels aligned to ignite in themselves, to realign in that place of inner alchemy, of raising vibration. And this is what I feel for me, what the divine feminine, how it is to bring us into embodiment of that divine source, that diamond light that's out there. Bring it in and then offer it to the world. Bring it forward, share it. At this point on the planet is like all hands on deck. We need everyone stepping forward, offering their wisdom, their magnificence.
I just wanted to share, like, when you're doing the movements, and I see the world in geometry, and I've always been that way. And I just like saw all these geometrical energy fields and movements that you just created with your hands. And it's so interesting because different hands formations, so whatever you can align and amplify and transmute the energy into what you want just by using a few movements. And I'm sure you teach that in a school. It's just really amazing to observe that from the side. Thank
Yes, we especially want to ignite people instead of like studying what this meaning is or that, or what doing this or saying that does, to bring it into your own, to organically dance and give it your own meaning. That's when it really starts to land and mean something for you and create change in your life.
all of you probably have felt the shift of energy as Natalia was doing this. And if you haven't felt it, go back and rewind that part because it was truly magical. It was just like an instant shift. Wow, you are quite magical. I am so excited that I got to experience, and we all got to experience your light and your love and your magic today. in conclusion, for all of our beautiful souls out there that are so excited to explore and open up to their divinity, what would be the last thing that you would want to share with them to continue that spiritual path, to continue that evolution on finding that pure light?
I would say keep coming back within, slowing down, disengaging from the outside world, and even if they're just small moments throughout your day, to just keep checking in with yourself, using the breath to keep coming back in to what inspires you, what brings you joy, what makes you feel on purpose, what lights you up, and then bring it, give it, amplify it, share it.
Mhm. Find your purpose, live with intention, and share your beautiful love and light like a diamond. Such a beautiful gift. Thank you, Angel. And thank you for all of you watching today. May this inspire you to open up to your own divinity. And if exploring those archetypes within you, it's something that you feel in every cell of your body, I highly encourage you to follow Natalia, reach out to her, find the link below, and join her on this journey to activate those 13 archetypes within you and be that beacon of light for you and every single person around. Like Natalia said, now is the time to have all hands on deck. Until tomorrow, my beautiful angels.